Okay, now, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce one of my esteemed colleagues, Kevin Weller, retirement benefits specialist, who is team lead of Acera's retired benefits unit. So he's going to tell you about the new way that you can submit electronic forms to Acera with zero hassle. So Kevin, how's it going? Good to see you.
Going great. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. I appreciate it.
Sure. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
Yep. Give me just one moment here. All
All right,
right.
Kevin, it's all yours.
Thank you. Okay, so our first topic for today is how to submit electronic forms to Acera with zero hassle. So let's go into it. All right, DocuSign 101. So we're going to start by talking about Acera and e-signatures or electronic forms today. Next, we'll go into some of the benefits of e-signatures with Acera. Third, we're going to show you how to get started with DocuSign, how to get out to our website and actually access our DocuSign forms that are available to you all as members. And last, we'll go through a DocuSign example. We'll do a live run through of our vision plan enrollment form so that you all can see what the experience looks like when you go to fill out a form through DocuSign. And at the very end, we'll have some time for questions. Okay, so let's jump into it. So Acera and e-signatures today. So first, let's talk a little bit about our history of electronic signatures and electronic forms at Acera. So for about 10 years now, starting in 2012, we've had electronic forms available to members, starting with our purchase request form and retirement estimate request form and so forth. And since that time, we've had 13,000 successful forms submitted. So in other words, members have completed those forms, they've been sent to Acera, and we've processed them successfully. So we're really excited about that. So electronic forms have been here for a while. Originally, when they started out, it was in your Acera Web Member Services account. They're still available there today. We've just added on, and now we have additional forms available through DocuSign, which has been over the course of about a year since we've had those forms available. So here's a snapshot at some of our most popular electronic forms, our address change, all of our insurance enrollment forms, and also our tax withholding forms. So we see those come in all the time. They're all available to you today out on the website. Just go in there. They each take only a few minutes to complete, and I think you'll be surprised how easy it is. All right. So next, let's go into some of the benefits with e-signatures at Acera. So first, let's talk about what makes this easy for you as the member. So the first thing is these forms check for completeness. So if you miss a required field on the form, it's not going to let you submit it until you've resolved that. And it's going to identify it for you. And the really nice thing about DocuSign is it actually brings you back to the point in the page where that missing field is. So in addition to that, it's also checking to make sure that the information that you've entered in that field is correct. So for instance, we have zip code fields, and zip code fields can only take numbers, as they should, and they have to be 5 digits long. And if you enter something else that isn't 5 digits long and contains letters, it will tell you it's not in the right format. So it checks to make sure that you've entered the right information there so that we never have to send anything back to you for corrections, which is awesome. Another awesome benefit is immediate send and receipt. So as soon as you're done completing that form, Acera gets it immediately. It is far and away the fastest way for you to submit forms to Acera and to ensure that your forms get processed timely. So a really huge plus there. Also, depending on which browser you're using, Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, or some of the most popular browsers today, you may also have autofill enabled, which means that the browser, if you've used it for other websites and you've entered your information there, you'll get autofill suggestions, which will allow you to fill in your name, address, and other information that you may have filled in other places. So that makes filling out these forms that only take a few minutes even faster. The only thing with that is you just have to make sure that the information that's actually provided through the autofill is correct and current. Sometimes it pulls old information. So if you do use that feature, just make sure that you read over the form before you submit it. Okay, so we've talked about what makes it easy. How secure is it? That's definitely a question that comes up all the time. We have two security measures depending on which type of electronic form you're submitting. One would be through Acera web member services. So if you log into your account, it is verified by your email address and your password. So when you log into your account, you've verified your identity for Acera. If you are going through DocuSign to complete a form, there's an email address validation step. So when you enter your name and your email address on the first screen, which we'll see in just a moment, you'll be able to get an access code emailed to you. And when you get that access code emailed to you, you just need to take it from the email. You can copy and paste it, or you can copy it down and then enter it onto that field in DocuSign. And that's how we verify that your email address belongs to you. And we should already have your email address on file. If you're not sure if we have it or not, give us a call. We'll do a verbal identification with you to make sure that you are the right person calling, and we'll get your email address added right away. In addition to that, we have form data that's always encrypted. So this means that from the time that you start completing the form to the time that you hit the submit button, it goes to Acera, it's completely secure. So your data is always kept safe. Also, there's a feature for our forms, there's a timeout after extended inactivity. So when you're logged into your online account with Acera, or if you're using a DocuSign form, it will give you about an hour to complete before, if you've been inactive for an hour, you'll get logged out or you won't be able to access the form anymore. So that way, if you've filled out a form in a public place or even at home and you left your screen up, it will eventually go away so that your information is kept protected and safe. All right, so let's talk about some of the issues with alternative methods. So mail, we've all had problems with mail, I'm sure, and we're all aware of the issues that can come with mail. First, there's delays. There's non-guaranteed delivery, meaning that if it gets mishandled or it could become damaged, you don't know necessarily if it's going to get delivered unless you paid a lot of money for tracking information. Also, you have to pay for postage, whereas our electronic forms are free. So it's really important to think about submitting electronic forms if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you attending today have already completed one or more of our electronic forms, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback. And we continue to want to have your feedback. So if you have any suggestions for us, let us know. But it is the safest way, it's the easiest way, and also it's the best way to ensure that the information that you're trying to send to us, the requests, are processed timely and get received successfully. Okay, so let's talk about getting started with DocuSign. So there's 3 easy steps. So first, you need to go to our forms page. So you can navigate there from our website, which Mike showed you in the introduction. You can also just type in acera.org/forms to your browser, and it will take you directly to our alphabetical list of forms. Once you find the form that you want to fill out, you go ahead and click on the DocuSign button in that row. You'll see it just to the right of the name of the form. When you click the DocuSign button, you'll have the prompt. It'll open in a new tab in your browser to enter your name and your email address, and then you can click Begin Signing. And that's when you get the email validation step. Okay? So I'll pause for a moment if there's any questions. Otherwise, we'll keep going.
There is one question up on the board. It says, I forgot my sign-in and password. How could I change that, and what number do I call? And I wonder if, because you don't really need to sign into DocuSign to use it, you just have to click on the link. So I wonder if they're talking about the web member services account.
Most likely, yeah, that's probably web member services. So when you go to our homepage, if you go to acera.org, there's a login button. Click that, and then when you go to that page, there's a forgot password. If you're struggling with the forgot password, it'll give you a security question to answer. And if you don't get the answer right, then it may keep you locked out. In that case, just go ahead and call us during our normal business hours, and we can assist you with that over the phone and get you a temporary password so that you can get logged in. We will need to verify your identity over the phone, so just be prepared for that.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. And there's another question. Is DocuSign accessible to screen readers for the blind, such as JAWS?
That is a great question. I don't know. I think we'll have to research that and follow up.
I think it's built in to DocuSign, if I recall, because we are very careful when we are building the forms out in DocuSign. We fill out the alt text tags, which is like a label that it gives to each form field. So when a screen reader is toggling through the different form fields, it can tell, it will read off to you what that field is. So we, on our end, we're being very careful about making sure that all of those are the correct description. And I think we would have to check in on DocuSign's end to make sure that it's accessible, but my guess is it is. So we can get back to you on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Let's jump into
And then
it.
real quick, what number do you call if you forgot your login and password?
Okay, that's going to be our main number, which is 510-628-3000.
Great. And there's one more question. I'm going to save that question for just a few minutes later. So
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. Let's jump into the DocuSign example. So this will be our vision plan enrollment form. Okay, so here we are at Acera's homepage. So how do you get to the forms? So if you hover your mouse over the forms and publications header here, and then don't click on it, but instead you can click on it, but also the fastest way to get there is to look at this submenu and then click forms. Okay, here's the alphabetical list of forms. And I'm going to scroll down this list and we're going to go to the vision plan enrollment form. And this is the DocuSign button to click. All right, so you can see that it opened in a new tab and it's saying Power Form Signer information. It's asking for my full name and the email address. So in here, I'm going to enter our example, Acera example. And we have a special email account. Okay, then from here, we click begin signing. All right, and this is the access code step. So this is the part where you need to navigate to your email to get that access code. So I have my email already open in a new tab. And here's the email that I got. This is what it looks like. It's going to be from DocuSign.net. So if you weren't expecting this email, just be careful because there's a lot of scams and risks in email today, but it should be from DocuSign.net. You can always look at the sender here when you open the email to confirm that it's the correct party that sent it to you. All right, and it's telling me that my signing validation code is the following. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into this area over here. You can also write it down, but you do have to make sure that you enter it exactly as it reads. Otherwise, it will not give you access to complete the form. It will say that your authentication was unsuccessful. And if that happens, you can go back to our forms page and just click on it again and get a new access code. So if it tells you the access code is invalid and you're having issues with it, the easiest thing to do is just go back to the forms page and click on the form again and get going. Okay, so now I'll click validate. And that step validated that my email belongs to me and that I'm filling out this form. Okay, so now I need to check this box that says I agree to use electronic records and signatures, and then I will click continue. I'll zoom in a little bit here so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, and we'll go through this form pretty quick because I want to save some time for questions. Okay, so when you go through and you submit your form, you are going to see that when you click on one of the fields, it tells you required, your name. If it has this red box around it, that means it's going to be required. So Acera example, the social security number. So here's an example of one of the types of logic built into the form. So if I enter a social security number that's only 3 digits long, it gives me this message that says invalid social security number, sample format is, and it has those 9 digits. So then I need to make sure that I enter exactly 9 digits and satisfy the logic built into that field. Okay. Required is an address, so we'll go ahead and enter the address. I'm sure this address is familiar for some of you. And you can use tab on your keyboard to switch between the fields. That's how I'm getting to the next one. You don't have to click from field to field unless you want to. Okay, so here's the birth date section. So for the birth date, you can either type it in this format where it starts with the month, the days, and the year, or you can use the date picker tool. So I'll show you how to use the date picker tool. Don't just start scrolling backwards like this, because you can imagine how it would take forever probably to get back to anybody's birthday. So instead, what you can do is start by selecting the year. So for this instance, we'll say that 1960 is the year. And then I can click on the month and I can choose January, January 1st, 1960. And then when I've selected it, I just go to the day and I click on the day, and that's how it populates in that field. Okay. And I'll enter my email address again, and you can see that it tells me that it needs to have some sort of email format. So if it doesn't have an @something.com or .org or .net or something like that, then it's not going to let me continue. Okay. All right, so now I've got these filled out. Okay, so the next step is we're going to enroll in vision coverage. Or actually, let's change the vision coverage. Let's say I have the standard plan and I want to upgrade because I saw all those awesome benefits in the open enrollment guide. And now I want to upgrade from standard to premium. It's open enrollment, so I'll check the open enrollment box here. And self plus one coverage or self coverage. We'll do self coverage. And for here, I'm going to show you an example of what happens if you forget to select one of the areas of the form. So I'm going to leave that one blank. I'm not going to select my vision plan and see what happens. I scroll down, I look at the authorization, I click sign. It's going to prompt me, do I want my selected style this way? It doesn't really matter too much what your style is for how the font looks, because we've already verified your email address. That's how we verify you. You can draw or upload or change your style if you want to, but most people will just use the default font, and that's okay. So we'll do adopt and sign. All right, and you can see that after I signed it, it immediately scrolled me back up. Okay, and I want to show you again what happens. If I try to click finish up here, it's going to keep telling me, nope, you need to select one. Okay, so when I click, now I've selected it, it says done, select finish to send the completed document. Now I know I'm good to go. All right, so this is a really important screen. Before you close out of this, it's a really good idea to download or print out a copy of what you just submitted, because that's the last time you're going to be able to access it unless you contact Acera and request a copy. And the reason we don't want you to be able to continue to access it is because it has a ton of your personal information on it. We kind of want it to be a one-way street. It goes to Acera and then it stays with Acera where it's secure in our file system. So if you do want a copy of it, it's a really good idea right now to click download. So you can click download, it will say your PDF is being generated, and you can see that it came up in the downloads tray here. If I go ahead and open this up, it's going to show me everything I just typed into that form, and you can download it again from here to save it, or it's in your downloads tray there. Okay, so that's the example. Let's go back to the presentation, and we have just 2 minutes for questions, it looks like.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
So we do have a question, and this is, so the question is, if I'm not changing my benefits, so for the context of like the medical dental vision forms and open enrollment, if I'm not changing my benefits, do I need to do anything with DocuSign?
Nope, you don't need to do anything with DocuSign or our website or anything like that. If you're happy with what you've got, you do not need to submit anything to Acera.
And you'll see that message in the open enrollment packet that you receive in the mail. If you don't want to make any changes, you don't have to take any action. So the reason that you would be filling out a DocuSign form is if you happen to want to make any type of official request to Acera. Is that correct, Kevin?
That's right. Yep. If you have a change that you want to make or update your records, that's what you'll use the form for.
Okay. And then there's a question if, so I've used DocuSign before. If I log into DocuSign, will the documents get mixed up with my other business?
Nope. So when you click the link from our website, it is completely separate. So it's attached to your email address. So DocuSign might remember things like a signature if you've customized a signature, but that's it. It will not get mixed in any way. It's Acera's form. Acera owns it. When you send that form to Acera, it's only with Acera. It will never get mixed in with the rest of your account.
Great. And then there's a question, I hope we can use DocuSign for open enrollment. Absolutely. And in fact, there are instructions in your open enrollment packet on how to do that. If you want to go right to the forms, you can follow Kevin's instructions and go to our forms page on our website, and the open enrollment forms are in there. If you want to see just the open enrollment forms, you can go to acera.org/OE for open enrollment, and there's a whole open enrollment page there for you. There's a question, how do I refer back to my current plan or benefit? Because I think you had mentioned that, Kevin.
Yep. If you want to check what your current coverage is, the best way to do that is to log into your Acera account. So if you go to our main page, click log in and either create an account if you haven't already done that, or log into your Acera Web Member Services account. There's a whole area where you can look at your current elections for insurance coverage and a lot more, pay statements, tax documents, all of that too. So that's how you can confirm it. If you're having trouble getting into the account, go ahead and give us a call.
Okay, there's a security-minded question here. They're asking why weren't we able to program to just have it be the last 4 digits on that particular form that you were giving the example for the vision form, the last 4 digits of the Social Security number?
Yep. The reason for that is because our carriers require your full Social Security number. And we send these forms to them or we transmit the information to them. So they need all of that information.
And on any form where we don't need the full Social Security number, we do actually just ask for the last 4 digits. And there may even be some forms where we don't ask for the last 4 digits at all. So we only ask for it when we need it. There's a question, where is the download saved? Is it, for example, is it saved on your personal computer or is it saved on your Acera account?
The download is saved on your personal computer. So if you choose to download, you'll probably find it in your downloads folder.
Okay, great. And what happens if you realize you made a mistake and you want to make a correction in DocuSign?
If you made a mistake and you already submitted the form, the best thing that you can do is submit another form and then call us and let us know what the differences are between the form. Even if you wait 1 day and submit it again, then it will be clear that the newer form that you submitted is the most current, and that's what we should go with.
Great. If I use Via Benefits, do I need to use DocuSign?
As far as I know, Via Benefits does not offer DocuSign. It probably depends on the individual carrier. So if you enroll in a carrier through Via Benefits, that carrier may send you documentation, and it could be through the mail, it could be through email. They may have a DocuSign form for you to fill out, but that would be carrier specific. So as of right now, there's nothing through Via Benefits that requires you to use DocuSign that we're aware of. However, the individual carrier that you enroll with may have something for you, and that would just be a question for Via Benefits or for that carrier specifically.
Yeah. If you need to make a different request from us, like one of the different requests on our forms page, then you might use our DocuSign form. Question, can we submit the enrollment forms before November 1st, 2022?
Yep, go ahead and submit them now. We don't want you to submit them too early, but we're just a few days before. If you're ready to submit your form, go ahead.
Okay, if I have a phone number change for a beneficiary only, do I need to do a DocuSign form?
As of right now, we don't allow any beneficiary changes through DocuSign, but we're working on that, and we should have a form available at some point. As for right now, if you need to update your beneficiary information, please complete our retired member beneficiary form so that we can get that updated information, even if it's just a small change.
There's a question, when will we receive our open enrollment packet in the mail? This was already mailed out in mid-October, so you should have already received it. If you have not, it could be that maybe it got lost in the mail or your address was incorrect on the mailing file. Go ahead and contact us. Is that the correct procedure to contact us, Kevin?
Yep, go ahead and
Yeah.
reach out to us. We are basically waiting a few more days for them to deliver just because of the volume. It can result in mail delays, and it could take 2 weeks or more to get those delivered. But in the meantime, if you're still waiting, just go to the website. We have all the information there, the electronic copy, and we're asking that you call us on or after Monday, the 31st, if you still haven't received it, and then we'll take your request and we'll be able to send one out to you. It should come in the next 10 business days or so.
Okay, will only a physical address work, or can you use a PO box in the DocuSign form?
For insurance forms, we need your home address. So if you are enrolling in an insurance plan, the insurance carriers require you to have a home address. If you want to fill out our address change form and provide a home address and a PO box for mailing, we can set up that specification in your account. But I can't stress enough that if you are enrolling in insurance with our group plans, you have to provide a physical address. A PO box will not work.
Great. Somebody's saying they received their open enrollment packet yesterday. Can you complete the MBRP, the Medicare Part B reimbursement plan form through DocuSign?
Yep. As of right now, we do have that as a form that's available. However, there is a required field when you go to submit that. You will have to attach a copy of your Medicare card. So you'll want to make sure that you scan that or take a picture and have it ready on your device when you go to submit that form so that you can upload that with it. If you already have MBRP, you don't have to submit that form.
Okay. And then there's a question. I currently don't use the medical benefit through Acera. Will I lose that benefit permanently, or can I enroll in it later?
Each year, you'll have the opportunity to enroll in our insurance plans through open enrollment. If you don't enroll now or you haven't enrolled previously, you'll have the opportunity this month and I guess next month for November. And then you can wait until next year or a future year if you decide that you want our insurance coverage. Also, if you have a qualifying event, like you lose coverage, if you're on a spouse's plan, for example, you have 30 days to enroll in our plan, and that can be outside of our open enrollment period.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. So we're a few minutes over into Delta Dental's time, so I think we'll go ahead and move on. Some of our staff will type in the answers to the rest of your questions in the Q&A. And I just want to say thanks for doing this, Kevin. And you were a little afraid that nobody would have any questions and we need to fill time or something, but we have
Thanks so much.
we have so many. So yeah, thanks for that. I love that to submit forms to Acera now, you don't have to, for most of them anyway, you don't have to get paper involved or ink or scanners or the mail. So it's really nice that you just can fill it out online and click a button.